Should Alexander Lacazette be given a contract extension? That is what we're going to discuss. Yes. So, Karthik, what do you think?
uh, Out with the old, in with the new. I'm my. It's not about my patience running thin. I've never had patience. It's something that I'm dealing with personally myself, being impatient. But Lacazette, I think his time at Arsenal is up. Not because of a stinker that he dropped today, but in general, I think it's time that we phased out what we figured isn't working for us. And just dragging the same thing over and over as a cheaper option is not really helping. And we can see that from the transfer window that just went by, where we were definitely in need of a striker but did not go for anyone since we got priced out of anyone who was realistically within reach. So this is the time for a fresh start. Make that fresh start. Like get the top four, get that fourth spot, get that Champions League qualification, and make a move, make a statement move. A statement does not have to be 100 million signing. Again, statements could be very different for every club. So make that move. Just try not to be so sensitive about earlier relations or earlier contracts, previous games or things like that. But just go for it. Just go for the jugular. Throw in the kitchen thing. Like do it. Do it.
Uh, that's where a little more on edge about the prospect, because Nketiah, for all intents and purposes, seems to be on his way out at this point. So we're definitely going to be one striker short. And then if we let Lacazette go as well, at that point, the new striker basically is, there is no option but to kind of thrust him into that situation and have him start the game. So that is where I kind of feel like if you're able to get Lacazette on a reasonable contract for a year, even if it's the same wages that he's getting, and if he's okay with a year extension with possibly an option, just so he's more in line with trying to extend, just to ease in the process of signing in a new striker. Because for all intents and purposes, the players that we are being linked with right now are quite young. I mean, I think the oldest person in that list is who is it, if I'm not? I mean, DCL is probably the oldest player that we are linked with, and even he is
Yeah.
24, maybe. I don't know. Um, so these are quite young players that we are being linked with at this point, and it might make sense to have a calmer, more experienced head in the dressing room. I feel that's the kind of role he has played so far this season. He has not led the line as much as he has facilitated the flourishing of the youth players in the team. So if we are looking
We've
to,
we've forgotten one more player who's out on loan, but not who you think he is. Fowler and Balogun. I mean, if you're trying to say that, okay, you know what Lacazette is going to give you. I mean, compare all his season's outputs and put an average. I think if Balogun gets the same number of minutes, he can match the same output, if not a little bit more. So why not take that risk too? Because out with the old, in with the new, right?
I mean,
So
that's
do
not a
it.
bad call, but there's also for me, it's always been a balance of experience, right? At that point, assuming even Xhaka goes, because he seems to be on the verge of leaving as well, despite me being more on board with him staying, but probably
Me
not
too.
in a starting 11 role.
Starter.
But at that point, if he goes as well, then the only out and out experienced player in that squad becomes Thomas Partey, which is quite. I mean, Thomas Partey is an amazing player, but in no way do I look at him as a leader on the pitch. He does his job well, but I don't see him leading the line in any way, shape, or form. That's my only reservation, which is why I feel it might make sense to hold on to Lacazette for another season, unless we're able to sign some sort of, maybe if you're able to get Edinson Cavani off of United, because he's clearly planning to move on. just to have some sort of an experienced presence in that dressing room. And that is really the only reason why I personally feel that it makes sense to give Lacazette that extension. Not that I want him to start matches for Arsenal, but I do want him to make sure that the transition process is smoother. And he, so far this season, he has shown that he can lead the youth into the newer into the modern Arsenal. And I'm hoping that if we are to sign a big money transfer, that they don't have an unrealistic amount of pressure put onto them coming into the league in the absence of another stalwart striker in there. So that's where I stand on that.
Yeah, they're both on different poles at this, but again, that's what makes it fun, right?
Yep. Two Arsenal fans can disagree, guys.